pandemic has spread faster than any disease in modern history.
Being a game of 2020 in principle, I wouldn't be surprised that they took this footage from some news release. To confirm my guesses, you can pay attention that throughout this live action video not even a hint of a zombie virus appeared in the frame, just standard footage of some Ukrainian Maidan. And since when did Resident Evil begin to use a real footage in a plot? And why was this done if everything else will be drawn in the engine? This is, if it not already 99, your graphic look quite cool to draw in on it. Or was it cheaper to shoot ordinary people and download footage from Black Life events? And if this news is already being shown on TV, then why didn't Leon or Claire know about this whole epidemic when they came here? Such a report should have raised enough noise throughout the country. A first-person view of the game that will be first-person will dull dream-like color grading. Who are you trying to fool, Capcom? Why change Jill's original fucking outfit for this standard Lara Croftian footageable article? And why was it so necessary to change her face in comparison with what was Remake in the first game and make her some kind of copy on Mila Jovovich?
You gotta get out of there right now!
Alright, let me grab my...
Because why wait and prepare for a meeting of Nemesis for a long period of time, as it was in the original and in the remake of second game? Let him appear right in the very first scene so that there is no suspense at all. And if Brad called Jill now to warn just about the monster, then he already met with him, and since he met with him, why then is he still alive then, and why Nemesis switched from him to Jill, if he is the same employer of stars like Jill and should be destroyed too? And why did Nemesis break in the apartment from the side of the neighbor's apartment? He beguiled the door for the first time or what?
Listen, you gotta get out of there!
What are you talking about?
I don't have time to explain.
Don't have time to say something like you're being hunted by immortal monster. This is not much longer than the phrase no time to explain, if anything. Like now and every other time, instead of shaping Jill's neck or tearing her in half or undress her, he, like a typical villain, scattered it in different directions and moves as slowly as possible so that he would enough time to escape from him. Yes, it is to escape, not to win, because now it's completely unnecessary to shoot at him, so the chest and all sorts of upgrades fall from him, because the value of these upgrades is a very big question compared to what was in the original. And often, as in this moment, we are simply told to run away from him. A creature that had just broken through the thick wall could not cope with the most ordinary door. As we will see more than once, the explosions here work according to the logic of trampoline. Fuck, you're showing yourself down now. Why the hell do you need this piece of wall? What are you going to do with it? And he is going to bring down the building in which he himself is.
Genius, genius, genius!
What was that thing?
Damned if I know. But right now it's got a hard-on for the only two stars left in town. You and me.
How do you know that? Is that what he told you? He just threw a promotional sign at creature that need to land almost the entire clip in the head to make them fall. It will definitely delay them for a long time. The character who in the original was epically killed by Nemesis, at the same time presenting himself for the first time, appearing in the frame, he does from the one zombie simply because he could not keep from the door opening and did not think of running after Jill.
We're gonna make a run for it!
Come on, Jill! We know how this ends!
No, I don't!
Well, actually, everything is clear. Who better than you know after the events of the mansion? Claire doesn't have any straps holding her pistol holder on, not does by the holder itself. A second later she is fully outfitted. And where she got all the accessories is also not clear. The policeman had this holder on the belt, and not like Claire has now. From this point we realize that zombies know how to use elevators. Even if we both kill those zombies, they are still stand up to attack us in the cutscene. Yes, and use the elevators during zombie apocalypse, then when electricity can go out any moment, I bet yeah. This helicopter decided to explode on its now because Nemesis doesn't have the rocket launcher that he used to shoot down the helicopter in the original, and yes, in the same original, this moment with the helicopter perfectly fucked us up, pretending that this was the ending, and at the very last moment Nemesis appeared and shot him down in the rocket. It was a fucking awesome and one of the most iconic moments in the series. Immediately, not only was this showed into the very beginning of the game, but also the entire segment of the chapel was completely cut off the game. You might think it is a total coincidence that this car is exactly the same as the on the 7, but in fact someone was just too lazy to draw a new model. And this idiot continues to walk as slowly as possible given the fact that this gameplay he runs faster than us. And now in theory they should have been a segment of picking up parts of the spine throughout the street and picking it up, and secret sequence combined with twisting all the limbs in the correct position, but it looked like they decided to cut this moment, like most puzzles in the game. A great idea, of course, is to throw away a rocket launcher, albeit without ammunition, but you could not think that it could be useful for you sometimes.
I think we're in the clear.
This is usually said when someone is chasing you.
Oh, come on. Who's the dipshit that closed this?
That asshole who doesn't want some zombie to inadvertently sneak into your shelter was not understandable. Raccoon City is a small industrial town with a population of about 100,000 people. Why is there a subway here? And also, judging by the fact that this in the future they will use to take survivors out of the city, I will assume that this is the only metro in the world that leaves the city.
I am UBCS platoon leader Mikhail Viktor.
I can guess that your passport looks like this. And yes, considering how much they cut of the game, it is not clear why they left the crowberry and didn't even scoff it, as they did for example with the same Jill sandwich in the remake for the first part.
The city is completely cut off, isolated.
But Leon and Claire somehow managed to get into it.
If we can get this subway train moving, we can evacuate some survivors.
And why are you so sure that none of the survivors caught in the infection and will not turn into zombie along the way, thereby spreading the infection throughout the world?
We need to get you geared up. Head up to street level. You'll find supplies there.
We will equip you usually mean that we will give you a weapon and not send you into the street to look for yourself, which you could have done without your help. Yes, by the way, in addition to the fact that by mixing 2 cans of gunpowder, she somehow managed to create bullets, she also collected a box for them somehow from this. We will see this zombie model very often in the game. Here, for example, in Expert from Someone Else's gameplay, where only these dudes are bitch, how lazy were they draw a couple more. Exploding red barrels cliché. Since when do restaurants manage keep crackets with crystal that somehow unlock the safe, which they do not in some way in front of everyone? This somersault seems to be a useful thing, but I still didn't understand how to do it, and I always got it stupidly by accident, exactly as it was in the original. Since when do subway employers keep grenades in the lockers?
No, wait, please!
What the fuck?
Well, how is it? The villain must definitely kill one of his wards, so there is no doubt about what evil villain he is. And what were you doing there with him? Picking in something, picking, and so not up to anything and did not get to the bottom.
Oh, Stars, this soft.
You see her for the first time. How do you know that she is from Stars? Fucking dogs. Keep bags that increase the inventory capacity still do not change the hits of the main character in any way after putting on. Capcom, listen, are you aware that you are doing a remake of a main game and not a porn parody? You don't seem to be taken there. Umbrella invented a medicine for a painless abortion, but for some reason never introduced it to use. And when did all of this goo manage to fit in the space if the epidemic started only today? Stop using the same jumping out the wall in every fucking game. Well, as much as you can, and in the remake of the second game, now it's here. Are you too lazy to draw a new animation for what?
Carlos! That thing is still alive! It's after me!
What? Run! Come back to the station!
What not only your life would be in a danger, but the lives of all survivors who are going to be evacuated. A shotgun takes up the same inventory space as a pistol, while their gun, even a master key, takes the same amount of space. On the other hand, a silenced pistol already takes up more place in your inventory than a shotgun, because a silenced pistol is much longer than a shotgun. This is one of several puzzles that we'll encounter in the game of solved without an involvement of the brain. These are the mutated zombies from the fourth Resident Evil. Throughout this long animation, none of the zombies and nemesis will even think to touch me. I almost forgot to pay attention to his hairstyle, which is just perfect for a military man, because when half of your muzzle is covered by your hair, it's just fucking aiming at something.
No chance of fighting our way out of the city. Why is she here?
Because you told her to come here, you old sclerotic.
Bad time to start getting dead weight through.
You are actually evacuating civilians here. The same can be said about any of them. All of the location that they wanted to cut off, for some reason they did not choose to swear, because, well, this is most fucking up location. What was the chapel is not good for her. And the beach is again in a sewer's typewriters. Why and for what purpose could someone need them?
Oh, God. I'm definitely burning these clothes.
I propose to do this right now. This door opens only when its battery sticks out of it, and in order to open the next door you need to round around and open the neighboring door from the side. But now why doesn't Jill just pull out the battery when the door is open? This is what a man's run look like when an immortal creature with a flamethrower is chasing him. Then she has a direct road to a wheelchair. Well, yes, of course, to love that exactly how I would have happened. Bitch, did the rocket explode right under her feet? What Resident turned into Looney Tunes?
I think I know how to slow that fucker down. Head back towards the station.
We ran away from the station to take the Nemesis away from the subway, but when it turned out that he was chasing us, we were told out to go to the subway. Brilliantly simple. And even if he came up with something from a gameplay point of view, we just ran a circle and returned to where he started, and without any changes in the end. Nemesis, as he was alive, remained so alive. In other words, this segment was completely meaningless and was inserted solely to enlarge the short toy. The most unusual escape from a cobblestone comment for you that I have ever seen.
Funny how brainless zombies can ambush a platoon like that. Funny the gate was locked. Don't you think?
So let's say that he really did it. But why did he do it, anyone tell? Because he is evil and the villains do this, or why? The funny thing that this character was not written at all. The only line in his biography is that he is evil and loves money. And why he does it, who pays him, he will never know. So how did you manage to get into a moving train on the move? Do you also start to move quickly from the touching the rails or what? Why take a train with a bunch of civilians explosives? Who are you going to blow up?
Sorry.
Since when did zombies learn to talk? We won't see this cop again. As he entered the station, he disappeared there. You can safely forget about saving ammo in the game for Carlos. Why does an assault rifle do less damage than a regular pistol? I am now opening the same safe and taking out the same contents from it that Leon will open and take out of it some later time. And this whole segment in the police station is filled with such trifle with contraction the events of second part, as happens very often in the prequels. Passing through the moments of the second game, I thought, damn it, it must have been Nemesis who broke those walls chasing Jill. Would have played this of kind of see. And then some hairy guy blows up this wall with explosions while Jill lies somewhere in the rest. And after the explosion, for some reason, apart from the wall, nothing was damaged and nothing even moved.
Look, just send in stars. They're gonna know what to do.
No, negative. RPD's overrun too.
Then figure it out!
What to understand? What do the creatures in the police station have to do with it if you are in the hospital?
Hey, I'm the only one who knows how to make the vaccine to stop the zombies.
Moreover, you have already made our sample, but Umbrella for some reason is not hurried to release it to people. Why then was it developed at all and then kept locked up? Oh, by the way, the Raccoon City police station is ahead of time invented Skype. Lara Croft at least had scratches from her falls, and then Jill tumbled on a train, and all that was left on her were dirt spots. Fire, explosives and bullets do not cause any damage to him at all, but the grate cuts him instantly. And how the fuck did they survive being on the same train and not even get dirty? He probably held on to the handrail unlike Jill. For half a day the virus in Jill's body did not begin to manifest itself at all. Bullets are not able to break through this glass, but the hands of the dead are easy. And in this locked room, over time there will be more zombies than there were originally, and this means that they have learned to multiply. Who and how managed to kill this doctor when he is in the closed room, which opens only in the voice of those two work here.
Now, I keep samples of this vaccine here in my office. The rest of it is stored underground. But those sons of bitches at the board, they want to destroy it. They don't want the world to know what they've done. So they're trying to erase all evidence that the virus ever existed.
And this is of course the most logical options. To release a vaccine to the world saying that they had developed it, but they did not touch the creation of the virus itself, and of course it was impossible to destroy only those data that would confirm their involvement in this. Fuck! If you hit a monitor like this with your fist, you would rather break your arm on it. A very long shooting of opponents in time with parallel protection of a door from the penetration of zombies into it. Firstly, why not do this from the very beginning to reduce the numbers of holes of zombies, and secondly, why put the explosions on such a long timer that you still have to run and shoot dead things for some time? Okay, at the beginning of the game you tried to fool us with the dream of first person, but it's almost over. I already know that the camera is behind the hero. Who the fuck are you trying to fool to? And yes, how did Jill see a word of her dream, which she had never seen in her life and had no idea where she was now?
He carried you here and he treated you himself, crazy bastard.
Where is he?
He went underground.
And how did he get under this very earth if, as we will see later, the only door that leads there is locked?
How is it no one in the hospital ever noticed all this?
The door was locked, but the employers did not have master keys, so they did not notice. Another friend is unkillable regenerators from the fourth Resident Evil. Nemesis does an excellent job of killing everyone in his sight except for the one he needs to kill. As usual, the zombie game must necessarily end in laboratory rooms.
Override key successfully generated.
What have we here?
We have a USB flash drive here in 1998. Well done, keep poking exactly where you throw it. Found the best place for it. The knife in no case will be able to pierce through the tentacles and reach you in no case. Where did Jill get this armored ampoule case if she does not storage it without it? In addition to the fact that this is exactly the same boss fight as it was before, only zombies were added that occasionally appear, so they also didn't have a classic timer till self-destruction, where like it would be quite appropriate, because there, as it were, a rocket flies up in order to raise the city to the ground. Yes, and these zombies have the feeling that they simply materialize from scratch. So, dearly beloved, it is not clear for what reason a biological substance of an indefinite form into which a cool and memorable boss has turned, maybe just such a good, just draw simpler, who knows. And yes, the rocket is about to fly in the city, but there is no return repair at all. Why should we rush somewhere, really? How are you holding it, girl? It is hard for you there? Yes, the recoil from this gun should have broken both of your fucking hands. Now Chris fucking Cobblestones doesn't look so ridiculous against the background of this. Jill has the unique ability to wash all of the blood from herself in a second. And where did you come from? Do you become invisible when the camera is not looking at you, or what? Or is Jill just that incomprehensive? You have now pissed away the huge amount of money you could have made with the vaccine.
10 minutes until missile impact.
The missile has launched.
Seriously? You seriously launch a rocket only the final cutscene when we already imagine nowhere to hurry? Seriously? Did you play the original game at all, devs? Do you understand the whole hell of countdown here? What is the point of him in the last cutscene?
Shoot him!
I can't! I'll hit you!
Do it! You have to!
Well, can you just push him forward and run away yourself so that Jill can shoot him calmly? No one is holding you or stopping you. I am at his hand, but the bullets decided to hit his shoulder.
You're a fool. You're a fool!
But with this statement I perhaps agree. This fool left the evil Russian Nikolai alive when there is still a lot of time before the explosion to escape. And on the same side there is second helicopter on which he most likely flew away. And since when did the small town of Raccoon City become a metropolis?
There it is.
And Jill probably went blind looking at nuclear explosion.
human grade.
You just described the reason for creating this remake, and in particular in half brother with Down syndrome called Resistance, which I played for 10 minutes and I didn't want to go in this bucket anymore. And since this is a full-fledged part of this game and is disport along with it, it is quite fair to nitpick it here. And what scenes did you find in this game? Be sure to write this comment and suggest game that you want to see here in the future.